outer zone of anything is called the cortex. The middle zone is the medulla, and then the inner zone is called the pelvis. So, cortex, medulla, pelvis. They look different because the kidney's made up of nephrons, right? The functional units are nephrons, and every nephron goes from cortex all the way to the pelvis. They appear different, and like zones, because they each have different parts of the nephron. So the glomerulus and the capsule and the proximal and the distal tubules are all in the cortex. The loops are all in the medulla, and the collecting ducts are run through the medulla into the pelvis. So the pelvis is all collecting ducts. The medulla is loops and collecting ducts, and the cortex has the glomerulus and the capsule and the proximal and the distal tubules, all the spaghetti that it looks like in the microscope, right? So it's basically, you should know the zones and what parts of the nephron you would find in each one. Finally, coming out of it, you'd have the tube that carries the urine to the outside. Again, is the not to the outside, that carries it to the bladder from here, so it's the ureter. No urethra from the kidneys to the bladder is the ureter. And of course you have the renal artery and vein, which have been injected. So you can see these colors. So you can see the urine collects through these collecting ducts into this stained yellow area. That's all pelvis. Right? Pelvis, from the Greek word, that means basin, right, where everything collects. So cortex, medulla, pelvis.
Can you do that again, one more time?
Cortex, medulla, pelvis. Zones of the kidney. The cortex has the glomeruli and the capsules and the proximal and the distal tubules of the nephrons. The medulla has loops and collecting ducts which start in the medulla and run through the pelvis. The pelvis is all collecting ducts that coalesce basically into the ureter, which carries the urine to the bladder. So that's it for kidney. Okay.